Millions of us are looking for ways to make extra money. So side hustles are all the rage. And they make it sound so easy. But did you know that the median side hustle income is only $200 a month? We're going to expose what they're not telling you and show you how you really can make that extra money. Let's look at some recent side hustles and ask this question: what's the catch? Because you see, after years of being an entrepreneur, leading 19 companies, believe you me, there's a catch. And I don't want you to go through the pain, the suffering, the disappointment of chasing something that turns out to be a dead end.
I'm very happy you're bringing this up because I've been caught on some of those side hustle videos before. And by the end of them, I've got a list of things that I feel like I can do and make money for. And then by the end of the month, I have no extra income. And I'm left struggling to figure out what actually happened there.
Yeah, AJ, I know what you're talking about. Let's look at some side hustles. And a recent video that came out by Mark Tilbury is 7 side hustles students can do in 2024. And the first side hustle he talks about is faceless short form content.
I don't even know where to begin with that, George.
Okay, so Mark,
how are you going to make money with that?
Okay, well, Mark's going to tell you. All right. So look, and he ranks this like ease to do it, the amount of money you can make. And he tells about a 16-year-old guy who's making $500,000 a month in short content on Snapchat without showing his face. And he's just taking other people's videos. He's remixing them, doing a voiceover, something like that. Now, the time to learn is a 4 out of 5. He might as well said 6 out of 5. It's going to take you a long time to learn this. And here's why. Because in the video, if you watch it, he says, and here's the catch, quote, creating short form clips is a lot more about understanding human psychology than it is about fancy editing. So guys, here's what you got to know about this. What Mark is telling you is it's easy to make $1,000 a month because this other guy's making $500,000 a month. But to learn it's a 4 out of 5 because you've got to start learning human psychology and how that translates into TikTok shorts.
I don't know about you, George, but when I'm thinking about a side hustle, I'm thinking about something that I already have the means to start doing. I don't want to have to go back to school to get a psychology degree or start taking courses on how to edit short form content or just start watching YouTube videos on. I don't want to have to go study how short form content lands with audiences in a way that's going to get me $1,000 a month, because that's a lot of money per month. And I imagine the grind of producing all that content is not going to be very easy in the beginning.
Probably not. So here's a second. And this is actually the most replayed of his 7, investing. Now, in fairness to Mark, he does say this isn't the typical side hustle, but he points out how you could invest in index funds. Okay, don't even get me started on index funds. And if you talk to any financial advisor worth their salt, they will tell you avoid index funds. But let's go with Mark. This is how he's made his fortune. He says, what he basically is saying is like, if you took $200 a month and invested it in index funds, like the S&P index for 40 years, okay, all those months, every single month, you would accumulate $1.2 million on those returns. Okay. What he bases that on is a 20-year period where the S&P 500 went up 11%. Okay. So Mark says it's super easy to make $1,000 a month because he's making $177,000 a week on index funds. Okay. So if you see Mark, you can see he's clearly been investing for 40 years. Well, so there's a little catch here. And the catch is, it's not a little catch, it's a really big catch. If you invest $200 a month, how do you pull out $1,000 a month? That's a negative draw of $800. So you're not going to be making 10% a month. You can look at S&P figures and see in certain 10-year frameworks, it made 8%, didn't make 10%. There's been years where it dropped 35% in a single year. To stay in an index fund for 40 years takes a ton of discipline. I'm just saying. And the other thing is like, so I'm not even sure how you pull the $1,000 out, but then there's this other little thing he just sort of mentions. Another way you could do it is you could invest half of your income from another side hustle. Wait, wait. I've got to go get a second side hustle to use the investing side hustle. You see, guys, you got to start listening to this stuff and really, really looking. You've got to let the dopamine come down and just kind of get real logical and rational and go, take your eyes off the $177,000 a week, because it's not going to be happening.
Yeah. And what did Mark say the ease of making $1,000 a month was for that?
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5?
Uh-huh.
And like we just said, and this is based entirely off an index fund. And like you just said, some years the index is going to do better and some years the index is going to do worse. And a couple of years over that horizon, it's probably going to crash pretty bad. So how can you say it's a 1 of 10 ease when you literally have no control over the outcome?
Well, the other thing he says is the money needed is 1 out of 5. Well, you've got to have money to make money in investments. It's just the way it works. You can't make a return if you don't put money in the market. And so there's so many catches to this because there's no timeline on this. It's like, well, when do I start pulling out my $1,000? When you retire, I guess. So 40 years from now, you're going to get $1,000 a month or more,
So that sounds like a retirement plan and not at all a side hustle. And then I came across another one, a video by Shane Hummus, where he was literally talking about selling dirt.
Right. Yeah, I've seen this. So this involves selling dirt or sand. And then he talks about this guy that made all this money selling Irish dirt or dirt from Ireland for Irish funerals. So they could, because their tradition is to throw dirt onto the casket. And so if they're in another country and they're Irish, he sells them Irish dirt. And the opportunity score is a 7 out of 10. This is just, nobody's doing this. Well, no kidding, nobody's doing this. All right. So, guys, I told you I've had a ton of experience. I have a good friend, and he sold dirt for 30 years. It was organic. Okay. So, all different kinds of compost and things like that. But basically, he referred to himself as, I sell dirt for a living. Let me tell you how he made his money. He owned 14 or 15 acres of what became prime real estate. And when he sold the dirt, his dirt was on. That's where he made the real money. Let me tell you, that is an incredibly hard business. I mean, he sold to box stores and all that kind of stuff. You've got to have devices to sack this stuff up. You've got to have transportation. It's a full-blown business. This isn't, you're not going to just side hustle some Irish dirt to people.
Exactly. I've done some landscaping jobs before, and I know starting that business is not just as easy as, all right, I'm going to start hustling. There's equipment to it. You need to start arranging suppliers. You need to test the quality of your dirt because people care about that.
And here's the catch. There's no margin. And what I mean by margin is it's the cost to get the dirt in the bag and sold versus the price you sell it at. You might make 20% a bag or something, but you've seen the prices of dirt in the box stores. There's not much money in it.
Exactly. It's dirt. It's a commodity. It's not some high value product that you can differentiate, really.
One of the things Shane does talk about is creating online courses. It's 11 easy side hustles that could actually make you rich in 2024. So it's not just about making money with Shane. It's about making you rich. Okay, so he says creating online courses. And he goes, an example is given of someone making over $100,000 in a day selling an Excel course. All right, just for fun, here's the catch. Go Google online Excel courses. There are a bazillion of them, okay? Excel's been around for ages, and there's tons of tutorials and e-courses and all of that. And he gets into Kajabi and Udemy and all these online places. And he goes, oh, there's all these platforms and you can just put stuff on them and blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something. I would actually honestly recommend Kajabi, but Udemy is like, you're stuck at a price. They put a price on it and that's what it is. And they own your course. So you don't, you got to do a little research into this. There's so many catches here. Plus, what's the big catch, AJ?
Who's going to take your course?
Well, that's actually the second big catch. The first big catch is, what could you possibly teach that people would pay for? I mean, so if I'm like AJ and I'm recently graduated from college and, I'm learning things and stuff like that, I'm probably not taking a course from you. No offense, but I'm just probably not doing that.
Oh, none taken. If I hadn't watched Shane's video, I wouldn't even have an idea of starting to do courses because exactly like you said, what am I going to teach anybody? I'm still trying to learn things myself.
There's one more side hustle I've just got to bring up. It's selling EIN numbers for businesses. So EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. This is basically, if you open a business, you've got a corporation, LLC, something like that, you've got to have an EIN, which is like a social security number, except it's for a business. Okay. Now, I'm going to read you exactly what this is summarized to say. It offers services to set up employer identification numbers for businesses, charging a fee for a task that takes only minutes. Use platforms like Fiverr to advertise these services. So Fiverr, Upwork, something like that. I sell EIN numbers, okay? Or I can get you your EIN number. This is by Joshua Mayo, 6 work from home side hustles to quit your job in 2024. Okay, here's the catch. Don't quit your job to sell EIN numbers. Don't. Have you ever heard of Google? How do I get an EIN number? Boom. It will take you to a direct link to the IRS where you get your EIN number. Who's going to pay? I'm sure someone will pay you for it. I'm sure someone. And that brings up point 2 from what AJ just said. How do you find someone to pay you for that? Especially
in that example, it's going to be someone who's not very business savvy.
Right. So I just told you how to go get an EIN number. Okay? It wasn't even the point of the video. So look, there's some common things to these catches. Okay. What are some of the common catches to all these? So when you start looking at these side hustles, I want you thinking about these catches.
Like if you need to go back to school in order to teach yourself how to make money off of this, that's probably not a good starting point for a side hustle.
Guys, you got to forgive AJ because he's a college graduate. But honestly, and AJ, there's a lot of e-learning out there online. So, you could go take the e-course on how to get EIN numbers and then take that course and then start selling your, so you've built your skill up or something, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what's my area? What am I good at? What can I do? Or what do I got to go do to get this? But here's something else that they don't talk about at all. Who do you sell these stuff to? I mean, they're talking about TikTok shops. They're talking about Etsy stores. They're talking about all kinds of stuff, but they never, ever mention how are you going to sell it? Who are you going to sell it to?
Yeah, that's a great question to even ask yourself. Like, how many times do you find yourself buying from somebody's side hustle? How many Excel e-courses have you taken or bought dirt from somebody or an EIN number from somebody? Like, you're not really, you as a consumer aren't interacting with these businesses. So how do you think when you start one, you're going to start marketing and finding consumers?
AJ, that's a really, 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 really good point because you just made me realize. So like when I buy from somebody online, and I've spent thousands of dollars learning. Okay. I'm a big advocate of that. I do it from people that it's their full-time gig. I did. So here's a great example. One of them is, write books. Okay. I've written a book. It's called The Next Level Entrepreneur. It's on Amazon. You can buy it. I actually make money on it when you buy it, like $5. I didn't do it to make money. I did it because I wanted to share my expertise with people. Okay. So I spent thousands and thousands of dollars, took a book launch mastermind, and Tim Grohl, who did it, expert in launching books. He's got a good track record. I wanted to know that. I've watched his videos. He made sense and he's really good. But here was what he said in the very beginning of the mastermind. I'll bet you didn't write a book to learn how to market books. Boom. I go, you're exactly right, Tim. I'm not a marketing sales guy. And he goes, well, guess what? You're going to learn how to do marketing books from me. And that's what the course was really about. That's what the mastermind was really about. And he said something very interesting. He said, do you know what most authors do after they write a book? I'm going to like figure out how to sell the book. He goes, no, what they do is they write another book because they don't know. That's all they know how to do. So guys, you've got to look at this from a business standpoint and go, how am I going to sell it? But before you start looking at all these side hustles out there, and so there's these common catches that we're kind of outlining. This is frankly the most important thing you need to do first. And that is ask yourself this question: what am I passionate about? You see, let's go back to my book example. What they tell you, if you go and look at all these book gurus and side hustle people and blah, 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 is find out what's trending in the book world and write a book on that. Oh, that is soul killing. I'm not going to write a book on something I don't want to write a book about. And a book is a ton of work. Don't let anybody kid you. Oh, you can write it with AI now. Nobody's reading AI books. I'm just going to tell you that. That pendulum's going to swing real fast the other way. Here's the thing is you've got to know what you love. And my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur, the whole first part is focus your passions. We have a lot of passions. What we got to do is we got to focus them. I'd encourage you to get my book. There's applications in the book. You can do these little exercises and it will help you zero in, because if you know, here's what I love to do, and then you start looking at side hustles, the dopamine isn't going to hit on go get an EIN number business started. You're going to go, yeah, that wasn't even on my passion list, but starting an Etsy business is in my passion wheelhouse. Okay, I'm going to tune in on that one then. You see? So
it's starting from your passions rather than starting off of a list of something that, Mark Tilbury or Shane Hummus said, oh, I've seen a couple people succeed with this.
Right. I mean, we've got 24 side hustles out of, and every one of them is different, from just 3 videos that have been released in the last few months. Well, you might find your passion on there and you might not. Don't look at the list and go, gee, I wonder what I'd like to do. Go the other way. Start with who you are. What are you passionate about? And then start looking at these videos for ideas. Watch a few side hustle videos and you'll start to get super excited about how easy it is to make $1,000 a month. After all, that's what Mark Tilbury tells us, but you're not seeing even half the story. We're going to expose to you the YouTube side hustle mindset. And it begins by them telling you to make the #1 entrepreneur mistake.
All right, George. So I'm not even going to guess. What do you think is the #1 entrepreneurial mistake?
I don't think, AJ. I know it's the #1 mistake. And it's in my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur. Focus your passions, map your direction, build a great company. And there's a chapter in the book called Ready, Fire, Aim. And the book is letters from a seasoned entrepreneur to a younger entrepreneur. And that's how I unpack my entire Next Level Navigator process. Well, in this letter, let me just read to you what Mr. A, that's his name, the seasoned entrepreneur, writes Max. I have yet to meet an entrepreneur who is not ready to start their business the instant they were struck by the proposition of their vision. In fact, many entrepreneurs operate with a ready, fire, aim approach. Sometimes they hit the mark, but typically they miss more than they hit. Their solution? Shoot more, thereby increasing their odds that they will have a few hits. In business, as in the military, and so Max has been in the military, that's the metaphor here, misses can be expensive, especially for a new company. because you only have a certain amount of resources. So what they're saying here is you get excited about something, go after it, because that's going to be what you want to do. Make a lot of money.
Exactly. And as you're reading that, that's exactly how I felt when I started my business. Was the second I had the proposition for the vision of selling this medical device, the first thing my brain went to was, oh, we could start selling that by the summer, which was like 3 months away. um, and so
Right.
no planning whatsoever, just, oh, you have a medical device, I'll start selling it. I'm ready, and let's fire.
And so if you read the book, planning, that's actually not what he's talking about. Like business plans and things like that. What he's actually talking about is aiming. Where are you headed with this? And if your answer is, well, George, I want to make a lot of money, I go, that's great. Nothing wrong with that, except there's one small problem. That's not a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Making money is a metric, okay? It's like how fast you're going or how far you went. It's not telling you where you went. And that's what Mr. A is really talking about. And so if you don't aim first, you're not going to hit whatever it is you're not aiming at. Make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. When I was trying to just sell the device, to answer your question, I would have said, well, whoever's going to buy it. I'm not aiming at anybody. Whoever has money and wants the device.
Right. Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these side hustles. And here's one from Joshua Mayo's video, 6 work from home side hustles to quit your job in 2024. They're either how to quit your job, how to get rich, and this will happen in 2024. Okay? Keep that in mind. Here it is. Create specialized YouTube channels focusing on niche topics like software tutorials, entrepreneurship advice, etc. Well, hello, AJ. That's what we're doing here. Now, these channels can generate significant revenue through ads and sponsorships. Okay, guys, we've talked about, catches and things like that. I mean, come on. It sounds so easy. You just put the channel up and boom, the money starts coming in. Read the fine print in the YouTube rules. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view time in a consecutive 12-month period before any sort of AdSense kicks in. And when it does kick in, we're talking like a few dollars.
We're over 80 episodes at this point, and we still haven't hit that benchmark. So just for any of our audience who thinks a specialized YouTube channel is going to be your side hustle, you might want to think about doing it for a couple years first before you're going to make any money.
And part of it is, guys, look, you got to get comfortable with the camera. You got to start learning how the algorithm works, because YouTube is different than Instagram, and that's different than LinkedIn or Twitter. And so you've got all these different things to consider, and you got to learn the platform. You've got to learn what your audience wants. You've got to find your audience. And yeah, you might have a couple just blow up on you. But the chances are, if they do that, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but the learning curve, as we found out, is steep. And all you can do is keep making incremental improvements like we have been throughout the podcast. But those incremental improvements are only incremental. It doesn't just, you make an improvement and boom, now we're going to have a YouTube channel that I can call a side hustle.
Right. So, AJ, you've been looking at some of these videos on side hustles. What's another one that strikes you as like, hey, this sounds super monetizable?
I saw one in a video from Shane Hummus where he said you should start your own custom clothing line. And I actually know a few people who have started custom clothing lines.
I do too.
And the vast majority of them stopped very quickly and still have a bunch of boxes of inventory. And then the one guy I know who's still going on, he also has a bunch of boxes of inventory, and it's just a grind for him to keep selling it year in and year out.
Right. And now the guy I know, the last time I talked to him, I think he had boxes in his bedroom of sweatshirts or something. So, and guys, part of the reason we're talking about all of this is like, we want to save you the pain of that. First of all, you got money tied up in all that inventory, and the manufacturer made the money. So it's like, golly, there's easier ways to make a side hustle
Yeah, and the catch here is you have to make sure there's a market out there.
Yeah. So Mark Tilbury talks about in his 7 side hustles to do in 2024, if you're a student, okay? So his audience is a student. Now, this one is online coaching. And so he tells this example of Jack left his $70,000 a year job for $7,000 a month. Okay, first of all, that's a great trade-off. He's making way more money. All right.
First of all, though, what student is making $70,000 a year?
And that would be a catch. Okay, guys, you have to listen to this stuff critically. Okay, that's what we're trying to train you on here because and so here's what he switched to: online fitness coaching, offering personalized plans and check-ins. Any laptop suffice to start. Time to learn 2 out of 5. Okay, wait. There are certified training programs to be a physical trainer. Okay, and then you've got to train people. You've got to have some experience doing that. How do you even know your plans work? You can't just open up a laptop and start dishing out plans and go, well, you need to be doing sit-ups and push-ups. You know, they work for most people.
Check in with me in 2 weeks.
And money needed 1 out of 5. So you don't need any money. And ease of making $1,000, 1 out of 5. Because why? Because Jack's making $7,000 a month. So for you to make $1,000 ought to be easy peasy.
You only got to put in the 1/7 of the effort as Jack.
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't think so. Because we keep coming back to things like, 1, do you know what you're even talking about? And 2, who's the audience? I mean, where are you getting people to buy your stuff? Okay.
And why are they going to come, and tying both of those together, why are they going to come to you versus all of the other fitness trainers or all the trainers that are at their gym or any gym that exists? Like, why would they choose you online from your computer over anything else at their fingertips?
Right. So another one Mark talks about, which honestly makes sense, it could make sense, is managing a Discord server. So if you don't know what Discord is, it's a very robust chat, put up videos, all this kind of stuff to build community. So you can do DMs, all this kind of stuff. All right. And Chris makes $115,000 a month managing Discord servers. Okay, guys, that's over $1 million a year managing Discord servers. That's a full-blown business. He's got people working for him. I assure you he does. Okay. It's easy making $1,000 a month. Just guess, AJ.
Based off of what we've seen so far, I'm going to go with another 1 because he's making $115,000 in a month. So anybody can make $1,000 in a month, I'm sure.
That's the math right there. And time to learn. Oh, it takes a little time to learn. But you can start doing Discord servers and, you'll get better and better at it as you do them. Here's the thing is, how do you get business? Well, go to Fiverr, go to Upwork, go to, you're not going to get, what is it? $115,000 a month. Or you got to have a whole bunch of businesses. Now he tells the story on Chris, and this is interesting. Chris was doing it for free, reached out to Mark, Mark's got millions of subs and, he's a big name, right? And honestly, his stuff is really good. The way his content creation, it's incredible. That's why he does so well. That's why he's so successful. He's got years of experience at this. He meets Chris. Chris starts doing his Discord service. And finally, Mark says out of the goodness of his heart, I need to be paying you to do this for me. That's hard for me to believe, but let's just go with the story. And that's how Chris is now making $115,000 a month. So here's where we're going with all this, guys, is what's your reason for your side hustle? Because if you're just looking at these things, you're like, gee, it'd be easy just to start a YouTube channel or fitness or a clothing line or something like that. Okay, stop. You got to answer one of these 2 questions. And the 2 questions are, am I doing a side hustle to make money? So I need to pay extra bills. I need to have some money for savings. Or is it to quit my day job?
Well, why can't you do both?
What I'm saying is you could end up doing both, but you can't do both starting out.
Got it.
Because if you want to make money, that's going to be a different kind of job you may not really like. Okay. I mean, you can go into the gig economy. Okay. Start doing DoorDash or something, and you can make money to cover those extra bills or put money in savings. Okay. But that's not going to be a job you're going to do to quit your day job.
I see.
And if you find something you want to do to quit your day job, like let's say be an online fitness coach, okay? Well, that's going to take time to ramp up. Just about all 24 of these 3 videos we're quoting from takes time to ramp up and build the business. And so that's why you've got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, because it'd be nice if you could make your side hustle your main hustle. And now I see what you're saying. Because if you want it to replace your day job, you're going to have to think a little bit more long term, a little bit more strategically. Or if you're just trying to get some money in to fill whatever gap you have for the month, you just got to go find the most urgent thing that's going to get you the cash, like DoorDash, right? But if you're trying to build something long term, then you are going to approach this side hustle completely differently because you do want it to be your main hustle.
So it's time to reveal a big secret on me. I actually started doing what I'm doing today decades ago as a side hustle. We just didn't have that word. It didn't exist. We call them part-time jobs. But honestly, it wasn't, I wasn't doing it for the extra money. I wasn't doing it. I mean, the money was nice, but what I really was doing was I wanted to quit my day job. And my day job was running the family business. And I loved what I was doing in helping lead other companies as an entrepreneur and growing them. And so now my expertise level was very low because I didn't have a lot of experience doing that. But I had a knack for it, and I had a skill for it. And so I started doing that. And when we'll call it side hustle, but it was just my part-time job, paid as much as my full-time job, which I've got to always tell this in the story, was pretty easy because family businesses don't pay that much anyhow. Then I left the family business and went to this new entrepreneurial endeavor full-time. And I made tons more money. Okay. And so I could actually advertise making millions of dollars. Now, here's the thing. A lot of those millions of dollars got spent. Okay. Or, because you've got to pay for help. You've got to put kids through college. So I'm just saying, you need some retirement.
So you were part of the 20% of people who say that they're doing a side hustle just to quit their day job.
Well, maybe. They probably weren't even born. Just to be honest. But yeah, so what AJ is referring to is we've done some statistical research on this. And so the numbers are 80-20. 80% of the people say they're doing the side hustle for money. 20% say they're doing it to quit their day job. Now, there's some other interesting statistics about those 80%. The median side hustle income is only $200 a month. Huh? I thought it was easy to make $1,000. Oh, it is. It is. 25% of all the people doing side hustles make between $1,000 and $5,000 a month. Okay. So you got a 1 out of 4 chance. Over $10,000 is 5%. Now, here's what's really fascinating. There's another statistic that says 31% of the people doing side hustles are doing it for personal freedom. So if you take the 20% doing it to quit their day job plus another 11%, 20 minus 31, saying, I want to do it for personal freedom, you put that together, guess what, guys? That adds up to 30% making $1,000 or more a month. here's my point. The statistics really corroborate if you're doing this for a long-term directional purpose in your life, you're going to make a lot of money at your side hustle. And if you're just doing it for money, you won't. 56% of all the side hustle people out there are making less than $100 a month. That could be $1 to $100, 56%.
Wow. So, George, how do you get into that 30% of people where you're going to turn your side hustle into your main hustle and it's going to be a real revenue producer for you?
Did I mention my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur? Guys, I'm telling you this because that's why I wrote this book. I'm not making any money by selling the book, okay? I'd love to, but it's got the full strategic process. You've got to focus your passions, but you've got to do this strategic process called the Next Level Navigator. You've got to aim. You've got to know long-term, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? And what are the strategy steps you're going to embark on to start doing it? And here's the here's the secret to the whole process. It's strategy sourced in your passions. So why is that so important? Because it's hard out there. It's really, really hard. And you're going to have economic headwinds. You're going to have a tough time breaking through the YouTube channel or whatever it is you're trying to do. But if you love it, you'll keep doing it. And AJ and I have a passion for guiding entrepreneurs, leveraging our experience, making life better. And so we're going to keep doing this because we want more and more entrepreneurs to know you can do this and how to do it. Well, this podcast right now is a side hustle for us. It's not our main gig because we're not making money on it yet, but we will. And we want this and other things to become our main hustle. So guys, there's a link to the book in the description below. Also, I have an e-course on the Next Level Navigator. If you want to try that out, it's at a good price right now. So the thing is you need to figure out your passion, map your direction, and that's a great place to start. Thomas Edison's reported to have said, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. So if you watch any side hustle video, what's missing is hard work, well, and overalls. But if you're working in your passion, hard work doesn't have to feel like hard work. So in addition to work and overalls, there are 4 things you must have for any side hustle to be successful.
So George, are you saying that passion is more motivating than the dopamine hit you get from discovering a new side hustle from a YouTube video?
Well, no, but it's like, so dopamine, yeah. Now I think dopamine can be more motivating, but it's not going to last very long at all. Dopamine wears off. You turn off the video, you come back down. Passion though, oh no, passion is the gas in your tank. And you can travel hundreds, thousands of miles on passion. Dopamine, it's like candy. It's gone.
So then is passion one of the 4 things?
Absolutely. It's where you got to start, right? So like I talked about, my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur, Focus Your Passions, that whole front section talks about how you find your passions and zero in and focus them. And there's some applications and exercises you can do. And there's a link in the book down below. So it's key to get your passions aligned. And you know, if 80% of most people are looking at a side hustle for money, okay, that's fine. But making money is not a passion. And I'm happy to debate that with you later. But here's the thing. Your passions are things you truly love and that you truly love doing. So absolutely. You've got to have, that's the cornerstone. That's where you begin.
Yeah. And I think this relates perfectly to that burnout episode we did a few weeks ago, where we're talking about you need an impact level and what's actually going to sustain that impact level. And you should probably be passionate about that impact level. If your side hustle is like Uber Eats, which I've done, you're not going to be, I don't know how many people are going to be out there who are passionate about that. But for me, no passion in that whatsoever. And you burn out of it. You don't want to keep doing it, even though you know the money's gonna come in, you know there's orders to do. You don't want to do it because there's no passion behind it. You just burn out. And it would be nice if you had a side hustle. And because this is on the side, right? You already have your main hustle going for your main source of income. You need something that's life-giving, or that at least has some redeemable quality to it, rather than just, this is the grind I have to get on to make money.
Well, unless of course you're doing the Uber Eats or whatever it is that you just need the money just to, keep the lights on or make the budget or that sort of thing. And all of us hit places in life where we have to do that. But that's not the side hustle we're talking about here. And you're right. If you can do a side hustle that is life-giving and it's feeding your passions, here's what can actually take you is into long-term. Your side hustle could become your main hustle. And that's what we're really after here. So passions are first. The second thing is, right next to it is your passion monetizable?
And yeah, because we're talking about side hustles, right? You need to at least be able to make money off of this passion. It's one thing to have something you like to do, but if you can't make any money off of it, it's just a hobby. We're trying to figure out something that you could start making some money off of.
That's a good point. You need to sort your passions a little bit into, like, okay, these I could make money at. These are really just hobbies. And it's okay to have a passion for a hobby, but you got to realize, if I'm going to be making money at it, this has got to be higher up than a hobby. And so the good news is, in today's world and creator economy and all that sort of thing, there's a lot of passions that you can now make money at, where a few years ago, there really probably wasn't an outlet to market that.
Yeah, because that is the most difficult part of this whole side hustle, is finding a market, finding who's actually going to buy your services or buy your product, and what strategy are you going to use to get that product or service to them.
Yeah. And this is really important, guys, because that's what we mean by monetizable. You need to go look out there and go, who else is buying something similar? Now, usually when you've got a passion for something, then there's something unique about what you're seeing, what you're envisioning, what you're bringing that nobody else is doing, or few people are doing it, and they're probably not doing it your way. And so there's a uniqueness, there's something that differentiates you, but you've got to go out there and study the market, research what's the competition like, what's the landscape look like, what are people paying for this? Because that's the other thing, you go like, gee, I can go be an online fitness coach, but I'm only going to make, $200 a month. Okay. That's that, they open the gyms back up, hello. So online ain't going to work, maybe. So, I mean, there's all these things you've got to go out there and consider and look at.
Yeah. And in Shane Hummus's video, with 11 side hustles to help you get rich in 2024, he brings up, a side hustle of decluttering or home organizing. And that might be great if you have a passion for organizing and you love making your own home organized and you need some money and you have some extra time. It might be a really good side hustle to go start organizing other people's stuff.
Yeah. And this is where, okay, I really have to underscore passion here, because I hate to declutter. And I have this weird personality trait where I'm great at giving organization, but I don't follow it. Go figure this out. Okay. This has been all my life. And so it's like, I have to have someone organizing around me. So I would definitely hire you if you're good at it, but so I think the other thing you have to look at that is, what's available in my market? How good am I at that? How do I build a reputation around that? So we're getting into some other things, but so following our little process here is like, yeah, this is a possibility. And this is something I really have a passion for. And this is a great example of something that's here today that, like 10 years ago, I don't think this was a thing.
Yeah, and the internet has opened up the door for so many of these side hustles. Like, for example, I saw a video from Mark Tilbury where he had 7 side hustles for students in 2024, and one of them was online writing, which, if you have a passion for writing, the internet has offered a variety of mediums for you now to write for. It's just a matter of how monetizable it is.
Yeah, this is very interesting what Tilbury brings up, because And obviously, there was no such thing as online writing before the internet. You've got to keep looking at this as a catch. So you go, oh man, I got a passion for writing. But so I'm like, how he's talking about a guy making $10,000 a month. Okay, he's writing to the video is to students. Okay. Well, I went on Upworks just for fun, just to see. I'm just saying, unless you're an expert, you're going to only make $30 to $50, $60 per project, not hour, per project. So I'm not sure exactly how this guy's doing 10 grand a month, except that's all he's doing. So he's not a student. But here's the fundamental thing about online writing. You better love writing. You better love writing more than breathing if you're going to make $10,000 a month. All right. But it also brings up something else. And I just said it. That's to get expert. Now, there's a lot of Upworks out there that says beginner. I didn't, it's like maybe $15 an hour, 10 to $15 an hour, something like that. Okay. This brings up the third very important point. So if you've got the passion and it's a monetizable passion, you've got to have some skill. You at least better have some gifting, and you could start off like with the online writing at the $10 level, but I just love it. I've got a knack for it. And if I just start writing, I'll get better and better at it.
Yeah, we just did an interview on this where Julian, he had a passion for writing, and he started workshopping with his friend where he was just sending his friend stuff he was writing. And as he got better at it, he then started finding places that would pay him to do his writing. And now he's a writer for Forbes as one of his side hustles.
And if you Google his name, he's got really high SEO recognition. So here's what he did. He became a columnist for multiple publications online. And now he's the author of these articles. If you search his name, all sorts of stuff comes up. So not only has he made money at writing, he's got name recognition. And that's huge in this internet age. And he's launching a YouTube channel. He's launching a business. And that's powerful, guys. So if you've got a long-term view, then this could be an excellent thing if you love to write.
For a passion to be monetizable, you just have to have some skill with it at least, right? And that's kind of making me think with all of these AI tools that are coming out, there's this whole wave of creating passive income and side hustles off of AI, as if AI is already this super skilled thing that can just do everything. And there's no need for a human to have the skill of leveraging the AI. Like in that same Mark Tilbury video, he was talking about doing AI animation, but he did say there was a heavy learning curve to it of figuring out how AI can use B-roll and apply B-roll and then doing all the editing with it. It's not straightforward as you just tell a computer to make you money.
Yeah. So in Tilbury's video there on 7 side hustles for students, the AI animation one, I feel like he kind of deals with that a little bit more cleanly, because even though the numbers are really high, so he says you can make between $8,000 and $110,000 a month. Oh, okay. So it's super easy to make $1,000. So I just throw all that out, guys. But here's the interesting thing about the range. It doesn't really matter what the numbers are, is that says there's a learning curve. Okay. So the better you get at the skill and the more experience you get, and this is the fourth thing. So if it's in your passion, okay, it's monetizable. We know AI animation's monetizable, and you've got some skill at it. Now, the fourth thing you need to go get is experience. And if you can get any payment for AI animation, you're building experience, especially if you can work like in an Upworks kind of thing for an AI animator, and they kind of offload some stuff and they're showing you what to do, and you're sort of their assistant. I mean, there's all kinds of ways where you want to get paid to learn. And this is something I've done throughout my career, by the way, is taking on work that I'm not going to make as much money at it as I would, but I'm going to learn a ton. And with that new skill, I'll now make more money because I now have an expertise. So you want to go from experience to expert with expertise.
And that's the perfect scenario when you're trying to turn your side hustle into a main hustle, where it starts off as something where you have a passion for it and you can make some money off of it. And then as you start doing it, all of a sudden now you become an expert. And once you have an expertise in that, now you're more likely to be able to turn that into your main hustle. It's just a matter of building your business with some business savvy.
Well, and let me just mention my book again, because this is where direction is so important. And you need strategy sourced in your passions through my Next Level Navigator, which is in this book, because that strategic process you can map this stuff out in advance, guys. You can know where you want to go, the strategy you're going to do it. And so just like this AI animator, you've mapped it out. You go, okay, I want to work at a level 1, then level 2, level 3, because I want to launch my own AI animation business. And so all of this works together to begin to turn that side hustle long-term, be part of that 30%, making $1,000 to over $10,000. It's your main gig. It's what you do for a living, and you love it, and you're free from the day-to-day grind working for somebody else.
That's exactly what I'm after, is being able to pursue my own vision, working towards my own vision within my passions. And isn't that what we all want? That's what a optimally fulfilled life feels like to me, or sounds like to me, working in my passions, working for my vision, and creating strategies from my passions.
So there's a quote on the back from Max. He's the young entrepreneur guy. I would prefer to chart my own course rather than work as a part of another person's vision. In the book, the fun thing is the book is set in the 1940s, but Max is truly millennial Gen Z at heart, and he wants to do it himself. And so many of us do. That's where, get your passions. Is it monetizable? And then what are your skills in that area? Develop those up, get experience, know your direction. Your side hustle is going to make you money. And I promise you will start to figure it out. And your side hustle can actually be your main hustle. To get more answers on business, you can just click the link below and check out this video right here. I know you're going to love it. And until next time, may you live truly free.